What's good, beautiful people? It's Reese. I'm getting real with this man right here. Goes by the name of Tim Billings. And let me tell y'all, he has a testimony to share. And this is 3 years in the making. I was supposed to chop it up with him and get him on to share his story since 2019, since he first shared his story in 2019. And I have issues happen. Then COVID happened. Then more issues happened. But we sitting here today, and he has an amazing story that I want him to share. Actually, he's already shared it, and it's going viral.
It has.
Well, thank you for being on. And
thank you for having me.
Sharing the story. So we're going to go from where you was in life to where you are today. And how I kind of want to phrase it is, you went from making 6 figures illegally to 6 figures legally. And you're your own business owner. Okay, so tell us briefly about your past life.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be brief. Again, thank you for having me. Just in the streets, typical young black man raised by a single mom. Her struggling to raise me and my younger brother. I'm the oldest by 2 years, so my younger brother and I growing up in the house with her. She working and going to school, not being there, so just both of us in the streets.
The streets claimed you.
The streets claimed me, definitely. Okay. My pops was never there. He was in the streets back in Baltimore. Had some issues with drugs, so that just left me and my brother to run the streets, and that's what I did. From about 12 years old to the time I went to prison at 26.
That's 26. Okay.
Yeah, so I've never had a job, never known like the legal side of life until now, and just out in the streets doing street illegal things.
That street life.
Yeah.
But then one day that street life caught up with you.
Well, yeah, a lot of times the street life caught up with me.
Tell us more about that.
See, growing up, I was an all A student in school, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I was. So for me to even go to the streets is kind of an aberration for me. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be in the streets. So I think that's why I messed up so many times. But I was arrested 17 times.
Wow, 17.
Yeah.
But just like, did you do any, before you did that last bit of time, did you do any time, or was it here, there, a year, here, two? You know how that is.
I had done a year and a half one time when I was 18. But that had been like the longest. Okay. Mostly the in and out little stuff. 30 days here, a couple days here, stuff like that. But from 15 to 26, just in and out of jail 17 times.
So like small little petty crimes, nothing really major, obviously.
Nothing too major, but I mean some felony charges in there and stuff like that. So.
But they was giving you chance after chance after chance.
Yeah. A couple of them was DJJ, like 3 or 4 times was DJJ.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah.
And then a couple of smaller things. Then I went to prison at 18 and came home still messing up and probation here, and then they finally slapped me across the face.
All right, so tell us about that time and that day that you shared in that viral post where you got slapped across the face, because that is the post that went viral. When I say viral, y'all, I mean it was like reactions 53,000 times, shared 54,000 times.
Yes.
So it really resonated with a lot of people. And this was not just a story of that day, but since a couple of years after you've been home and how you transformed your life. So, but talk to us about that day.
Well, that day when I posted about was the day the cops raided my house, and very, very, very crazy day. It's when major events happen in life, you can almost feel something. Like, so earlier that day, I just kind of felt something off.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, I felt something off the whole day, and I was living in Columbia, so I actually came down here that day. I came to Charleston area and did some things and went back home and just a couple mistakes here and there, and I got arrested. And they were holding me at the police station all day.
Was that here in Charleston?
No, that was back in Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah, so they was holding me at the police station all day and wouldn't let me use the phone. Right, so I used to read the state newspaper every day before I went to prison, and I had read about a guy who had got arrested they found some drugs on him, and then they went back to his house, right? So as I'm sitting in the jail all day, and they won't let me use the phone, they won't take me to the county, they just holding me in the like police department. I'm saying to myself, they trying to go to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they trying to get a warrant.
Did they even like? Why did you get arrested? Did you even know why they took you into custody?
I met someone at a hotel to sell them something.
Okay.
And the cops just swarmed, like they came swarming. What they said was that someone robbed the bank right down the street, and they heard that he was staying at the hotel, the robber, and they came to see if I saw him or something like that. But when I saw them walking up, I was trying to put up what I had, and they saw me doing all of that, and then just.
So do you think that story was real?
I don't know because I was meeting a girl to sell her something, and people were saying that she could have set me up, but she got arrested too. So I just don't know.
Yeah.
But it does seem it does
little
seem
suspect.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So now back to you being at the headquarters. We'll say the police station precinct, and that thought came to your head like they on their way to my house. Yeah. And that's exactly what was happening.
That's exactly what was happening.
So what was happening back at the house?
My girlfriend at the time, two of my daughters. And it's just crazy how life works sometimes because her sister had came to stay with us. Her sister and her boyfriend was going through some things, and she came to stay with us. When the cops busted my house, like that was the only reason they didn't take my children, because her sister happened to be there to keep them. So a few hours go by, I'm still at the police station, and one of the detectives walked in and was like, "You got anything in your house that's gonna harm my dog when we go in there?" Like that's how he says it to me. He don't come back and say, "We about to go to your house. You're like, anything in your house is going to harm my dog when we go in there?"
So then you're like, wait a minute. I thought y'all told me it was a bank robbery situation.
Yeah. So they like, they telling me they about to go to my house. So as they telling me this, they ask me if drugs in there. I know drugs in there. So I write a statement saying that everything in the house belongs to me.
Yeah.
Right. So you won't take my girlfriend, my kids, nothing like that. Everything in there belongs to me. They actually used that to get the warrant to go in my house.
Really?
Yeah, so they kind of like tricked me into the warrant and then went and busted the house.
And so your mind, you thinking about your kids, your girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm trying to save.
Yeah, so you're not really thinking clearly to say, look, I need a lawyer, something, anything, right? Absolutely. Okay, so that's what was going on back at the house. So obviously, did you ever make it back home?
Yeah, they actually took me there.
Really?
They took me to the house when they busted the house. They let me sit in the truck while they kicking the door or whatever, however they did it, went in. And then they walked me in there handcuffed. And they walked me in there, man, and they got two of my daughters laid on the floor and my girlfriend on the floor and her sister and she's sitting on the floor. She just like, "It's over now, Tim. It's over now."
Oh, wow.
She just kept saying that, and I'm, just watching them, search my house, walk the dog through my house, and just, doing what they do. So
they never really went in the house until they brought you down there, but I guess they was already out there. So you had to watch them not kick your door down.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they didn't kick it down, but they might have knocked it on it and she opened it or whatever.
Okay, and there was no way you could warn them. Not so much to like whatever, but just give them so they wouldn't be so scared. Or
I asked because I'm trying to think at the police station, right? So I told them, I made up a story, something about my daughter was about to get off the bus and I need to call home.
Yeah.
So I called and we had a house phone. So my girlfriend didn't answer the phone. Now the cop has his hand over the button, like if you say anything,
I'm gonna shut it down.
So when the voice machine comes on, and it's the house phone, so you can hear the messages as I'm saying it. So I'm like, "Babe, I'm talking real sad, and I don't think I ain't gonna be able to make it home right now. Like, can you please get Ariel off the bus for me? Like, I'm trying to say this real sad, like something wrong."
Yeah.
But she don't.
And at that point, you're not trying to tip them off because you already told them that everything in the house was yours. You didn't tell them what?
I didn't tell them yet.
Oh, you didn't tell them yet? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't tell them yet.
Because I know in your mind, I'm just thinking, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm just thinking like you ain't really worried about that at this point. You're more worried about your kids and you're worried about that.
I'm worried about the kids, and I got $50,000 cash in the house.
That part.
That part. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is give a warning to her, like,
Yeah.
I'm locked up, get the money and
Yeah.
get the kids, get out the house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just don't worry about everything. Just
Right,
y'all take
that's
care.
what-
You get the money.
get go. That's what I'm really trying to say.
Yeah. So then, okay, what happens after that? Like, they find everything you have.
They find everything, and that's really why they brought me there too, just to make sure I can show them.
Yeah.
Just in case, you know what I mean.
Just to make their job. You know,
Right.
you look for it yourself.
Yeah, which I didn't. I already told y'all already. You know what I mean. So you find everything yourself.
Fun.
Yeah, you find everything yourself. So they took me to the jail or whatever, and like I said, I wrote the statement saying everything was mine, so they wouldn't lock nobody else up.
Yeah.
About an hour or two later, I see my girl coming in there. Yeah, they done lied to me, like saying they found some weed in her car. That's what they said. But I already told y'all, whatever y'all find on the premises is mine. You know what I mean? If y'all find a little bit of weed I got trafficking, cocaine.
Yeah.
Throw the weed in there with, you know what I mean? Throw a little bit of weed in there with mine.
Yeah, especially if they know you got kids there. Why would you do that?
Come on. So they locked her up, and they got both of us in there. But I did, I did have some money, put away. So I was able. She got a family member to get her out, and then I got her to, go and come get me out a couple days later.
So how long? So was there a trial? Did you plead? Like, how long from that day did you actually get sentenced? And what was you thinking when you did get sentenced?
I was out. That was October 2007. I didn't go to prison until 2009. I got locked up like 3 or 4 more times after that.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So did that contribute to the long sentence you had?
Yeah, because it's like in the drug game, when you lose that much, like I basically lost $62,000 that day. Right, the $50,000 I had in the house, and then it was $12,000 to get the both of us out.
Oh wow!
So that was $62,000 gone.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm trying to get back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hit the streets. A few days later, I bonded out, and I'm moving and shaking, trying to get back. Mm-hmm. And through all that moving and shaking, I get locked up again,
Wow.
to the point where I damn near went broke.
Yeah. So when you was back out there trying to get that money, you was just giving it.
Yeah, because I got lawyers. I had 2 attorneys. I paid almost $40,000. Kids, bills. I was paying bills in 3 different houses. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then after that, was it trial? Did you go to trial?
Yeah, I did. I went to trial. I actually went to trial because they tried to get me to plead to 25 years for all these charges. And if I lost the trial, it would have been 30 years. So I'm like, well, I'm not about to plead to 25 years.
Yeah, you might as well just roll the dice.
I'm going to take a chance, right? I'm going to take a chance
point.
to get 30 because if I lose the trial, I can still appeal and still fight.
Mm-hmm.
But if I plead, I'm just giving up all rights to take the 25 years. So I wasn't going to do that. And we started the trial. I pick up my jury and everything like that. And during the middle of the trial, one of my attorneys goes to lunch with the prosecutor, right? And he comes back to me and he says, I just went to lunch with the prosecutor. He said, I sat down with him and I said, are you just gonna give him 25 years because you can? And he said, we sat and we talked. He said, listen, right now I got a plea for 10 years for you. 10 years, there's no, I think about it, there's no, if you take this 10 years right now, or we finish this trial. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's looking like we're gonna lose the trial. Mm-hmm. I look back at my family, right? I said, what y'all think? What y'all think I need to take the 10? And they went back there.
Yeah.
Everybody crying. I'm like, yeah, let's go take the 10.
Yeah, take that 10. Okay.
Yeah, so.
And you was out with 9, right?
I did 8.5.
8.5?
Because they told me all that then. They were like, you're going to do 85% of the time. It's going to be, they have trafficking cocaine as a violent crime in South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. Never knew that.
Yeah.
As they say, you learn something new every day, y'all.
In the penitentiary system, trafficking cocaine is a worse charge than attempted murder.
Really? I wonder what's the logic and the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, I
may have to look into that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah, because that's interesting.
Yeah, very.
So, you're behind the walls. You doing it. Where was you at? Like,
I was living in Columbia at the time.
So you was up in Columbia.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Cause I didn't say at 15 I moved to Columbia area.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so
okay.
I've been up
But
there
in the
since
Charleston
15.
area, you're from Pineville, St. Stephen area.
Yeah,
Okay.
originally, and then like I said, I moved up there at 15, and I was up
Okay.
there from 15 to when I went to prison.
Okay. So tell us about that fateful day, that defining moment in prison that just kind of put you on the course of where you are now, or if there's anything that happened between the time you first went in and that day that just led up to that, or before that happened, was you like, well, I'm gonna do this 8 real quick. I'm gonna get back out there and get this money, do what I gotta do. You was like, this is it for you. You went in saying this was it. Okay, so what happened?
Yeah, I knew that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew that was it. That was 17 times.
Yeah.
You know, so I knew that was it. I actually sat within my first 2 weeks. I sat in there and I wrote down every time I had been arrested. That's how I know it's 17 times, because I wrote down every time I got arrested and what it was for. And I looked at that list and I was like, man, I ain't never doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's over. You know what I mean? And about 30 days in, I actually tried to make myself cry about having the time. I'm sitting there like, man, I got 10 years, I got kids, and I tried to make myself cry about it. And it's like something, like a voice said to me, like, this is gonna be one of the greatest things that ever happened to you.
Really? And that was within the first 30 days?
That was within the first 30 days. And I always tell people now, besides my children, like, going to prison is the best thing that ever happened to me, right? But the first couple of years, like, I've always been a reader. So like the first couple of years I read like the Bible and a lot of religious stuff. You know, when you go to jail, you get kind of religious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you need that faith and strength to probably help you get through
so
it, you know?
I got religious, so I'm reading the Bible, I'm reading the Quran, I'm reading Buddhism. Like, I studied every major religion in the world.
And I think that's good too.
Yeah, like, you know, when you try to get out of jail, you're just searching for whatever God gonna come first. So
and whenever I guess you surrounded by chaos, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so you need a plate that kind of peace, for lack of a better word, or just something to draw into. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for the first 2 years, that's what it was. It was like a lot of religious stuff. I read the Bible twice, Quran, just a bunch of religious stuff and a bunch of like black cultural things, stuff like that. So and then my mother sends me this book called I can't even think of the name of the book, but it was from a guy that did 12 years in the feds. And he came home and he started his own business and was successful at it. And in the book he mentioned, I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it changed my life. So I don't know why I didn't just order the book then. I guess everything happened for a reason, right? But I could have just ordered the book then when I saw him mention the book. And I didn't. I kept on with the spiritual, religious, that type of stuff. And then 2 years in, I got caught with a phone. Right? Got caught with a cell phone, and it was sending me to we call it a lockup, but you know, for people that never been to prison, y'all probably the hole, or you know, whatever they call it on TV. The hole, whatever they call it on TV, right? But they were sending me there. So as they were packing me up to send me there, a guy that was like in the room next to me or a couple doors down, he was sitting there beside his door, and he was reading a book, but he had a couple of books sitting beside him, and Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of them.
Wow.
And I looked at it, and I was like, bro, listen, I keep hearing about this book, man. Please let me read this book. I'm about to go to lockup. Like, I'm gonna be gone for 3 or 4 months, but I promise you, bro, your book gonna be safe. I'm gonna have it when, you know, when I come back. He didn't want to let me take the book, right? He was like, man, I was like, bro, I promise you I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna bring it back. It's gonna be good. He lets me take the book. I get in lockup. I open this book and I read it straight through. Like, from cover to cover, I read the book straight through, nonstop, and it just blew my mind, because coming from the streets as a hustler, I've always been into making money in the streets. He was just putting it into a legal way for me. You know what I mean? That's how I looked at it. Like, this is already what I'm doing. I'm buying assets, which my assets were drugs, and I'm flipping it to make money. Now all I gotta do is do the same thing, but do it in a legitimate way.
Yeah.
And from there, I read all the rest of his book. Well, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad straight through. The next day I turned around and start reading it again. I started taking notes out of it. And I started reading all of his books. I got out of lockup a few months later. I started ordering all his books, all kind of financial books. I took a college course. I got a subscription to the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, wow.
Like, I was going crazy. I was going crazy, like, just reading everything, anything business. Like, I was just on it.
But I mean, I guess that helped the time. Pass
It
the
did.
time because now you have something that you're focused on.
Absolutely.
It's just not like a day of, okay, what I'm gonna do today? I'm locked up. What I'm gonna do? You know,
No.
you had a goal. It was almost like you was self-taught. You was going to school.
I said I was gonna treat it like college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's incredible. So, how did you get on the path to deciding that what you're doing now?
Real estate.
Real estate.
As I'm reading all these financial books, right? Because it wasn't just real estate. It started with stocks, bonds, options, futures, like all this. Any type of financial instrument you can think about, I've studied it, right? And real estate kept coming up because it was the one thing where they gave you all kind of tax advantages, and they kept saying that you could flip the houses with no money. They're like, you didn't need cash or credit to flip the houses. So that's what really caught me. Like, how the hell you flip a house with no cash or credit?
We're going to get into that a little bit later.
Yeah,
we need you to explain that because I understand you have a business doing that now. So we're going to talk about that a little later.
But it was just so foreign to me at the time, the concept of that you could actually do this. So that's what led me to real estate. I'm like, okay, let me see how you flip these houses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kept studying real estate, and it's called wholesaling real estate. But in the books, they never used that term.
Okay.
So I was reading about it, but still didn't know how to really do it until I came home. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what led me to real estate, just reading about you can flip the houses with no cash or credit, and then all the tax benefits they give people who invest in real estate.
Wow, okay. Yeah. So now, once this happened, that defining moment that changed the course of your life with this book and then getting into that, how far were you along in your bid?
When I really got really business, that was 2012, so I was 3 years in.
Okay, so because I know you was bursting at the seams to get started and do this. So
God.
How did you manage to last next 6 years or so?
Yeah, like when you really serious about something, you start meeting the people and you start getting the resources that you need to continue yourself on that journey. So I would just, like you said, I was bursting at the seams to get out.
Imagine.
I would just talk about this to everybody. Like everybody around. If you can meet any guy that was in prison with me, like some guys call me now and they be like, bro, I remember you used to say, read these books, man, financial literacy. But now I see what you're doing and I'm working, struggling. And I'm like, damn, bro, you used to tell me.
Yeah, I should have been listening to you while I was there and had all the time and opportunity to read, and then they could be in the same position you are. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I just would tell everybody about business stuff. That's all I talked about, business stuff. So I started meeting other guys who were interested. I started tutoring guys in business. I was already teaching in the school anyway. That's like I did that for the last 6 years as well. Teaching.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I taught the high school and in the GED class back there. So and I also taught a Black History class too back there. So as I'm already known as a teacher, so I'm just teaching guys business principles, stuff I'm learning. Just so that was my way of. I can't actually start a business right now, but that was my way of kind of like, doing something about me bursting at the seams.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's been a calling on your life throughout this whole journey.
It has.
A lot of times people don't realize that the path that you're on may not be a good one, but if you wasn't on that path that got you to where you went to prison, you wouldn't be doing what you're probably doing today. You'd probably be doing the same path or probably be doing that 25, 30,
Or more.
So, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So that, and the fact that you listened, I know you said you read the Bible, Quran, whatever. I'm not sure what your spirituality is, but with me being a Christian, what I believe God does certain things to try to give you chance after chance after chance. It's up to you whether you're going to take it. And thankfully you took it. And not only that, but for you to say that you taught GED classes and other people, like you blessed other people while you were behind bars. You know what I'm saying? So that's just amazing.
It wasn't intentional.
Yeah. Really.
And like you said, it's kind of crazy how like I like to use the term the Most High. So it's kind of crazy how the Most High worked, where the things I'm doing now, real estate and teaching, are two things I learned in prison. But I didn't want to be a teacher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when I went to prison, the first 2 years I was at a prison that they don't give you a job. So I'm just in the room reading a lot, whatever. I get shipped in 2011. I went to prison in 2009. So in 2011, I get shipped to this other prison, and they make you get jobs at this prison. So they gave me a job picking up trash around the prison. So I'm a dude that, like, I like to stay looking nice. You know what I mean? Even in prison, like, I stayed looking nice the whole time. Like, so when they gave me the job, I said, they call it yard detail.
Okay.
So I said, oh, what's that? She said, oh, that's when you walk around the yard, you're picking up trash. And I said, oh, no, ma'am, I can't do that. I can't do that, right? So they got a little tape recorder in there. The lady stops the tape recorder. She's like, what you mean you can't do that? I said, picking out trash? I said, no, ma'am, no, I don't do that.
Especially prison trash.
Yeah, I'm like, ma'am, and the crazy thing is, this is a job that people in prison actually want.
Really?
Because guys can go from dorm to dorm and do the hustling and sell this and take that. I'm good on that. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm not walking around picking up trash.
Yeah.
So the lady says, well, what do you want to do? I said, I heard y'all got a school here. I'm like, when I heard y'all got a school, I can teach at the school. You know, I'm whatever. She was like, well, you can go talk to the principal about that. But as of right now, we putting you down for this picking up the trash, right? Wow. So I leave out of the meeting and go straight to the school. And the principal was she was a 40-year-old black woman from King Street. Okay. Right. So when I go in the office and I see the King Street High School thing on there. I said, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's home.
Right. So I know home. I got it right. So I go in there. I start saying, I've been an all-A student, National Junior Honor Society. I'm a South Carolina Junior Scholar, all of this and that. And she's like, oh yeah, okay. What high school you went to? And I said, well, I went to Timberland High School. And she said, you know what? I tried to apply for a job down there one time. Got her.
That's it.
I got her. So we started talking, laughing, and she hired me on the spot.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't want to do it, but as I started doing it, I ended up loving it. And I did that my last 6 years in prison.
But then that helped you too put on the course of teaching now.
Teaching now.
Yeah. So we get to that day where you about to walk out them doors. And what happened with life then?
Oh man, it's crazy. Like, you'd be so excited and so anxious. I actually started getting anxiety like my last 6 months. I would be walking and heart just start pumping out of nowhere, right? So my day coming out, anxious, excited, but definitely did not know what was on the other side of that fence.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in karma, and I know that in the years that I ran the streets, I sold drugs the whole time in the street, and I know I ruined a lot of families, right? I know that. I take responsibility for that, and I understand how karma works. So I know it's no way I'm gonna ruin all these people's families, and I come home and mine not ruined. So I came home and everything was definitely not good. Wow. I didn't even have a place to stay. I ain't have no money. I ain't have no money left over from the streets. Like, all that was gone. Like, no car, nothing. I had to figure it out.
So now how did you finally get into the real estate thing?
Oh, man.
How did that work out?
The second house I did, a house in Goose Creek. And it was a $127,000 check, but it was $65,000 profit out of that for me.
And did you have to use any money on that, or that was one of those you don't need no money?
$10.
$10? What? You have another business now where you're teaching other people to do just that.
I do. Yeah, they did $105,000 in 5 months from what I taught them. In that time, they have flipped 6 houses, no cash, no credit, and made $105,000. The things I'm doing now, real estate and teaching, are 2 things I learned in prison. When I was in prison, I didn't realize this was going to be the greatest thing ever happened to me. Yeah. But now I thank God every single day that I went to prison. I went to prison March 18, 2009. If I could go back to the day before and change, I swear I wouldn't change. It's things I learned in that last 6 months that if I would have went home a year early, I wouldn't have learned. Yeah. So I needed all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, thank God for all of it.